Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. We're in my car. Car videos are a classic, but it's like dusk, so we've got like some romantic mood lighting here on the number one Marmaduke fan show. Okay, so I'm just gonna do some quick reviews of things I read in the car. I'm gonna start with my winner of the day first: The Adventures of Cthulhu Jr. and Dastardly Dirk, written by Dirk Manning, and art by Scoot McMahon. I got their social media here. Okay, Dirk's at Dirk Manning on social media, and Scoot is at Scoot Comics on social media. So what I dig about this is, from a writing perspective, it's doing funny things without being condescending and too silly. Like, there's some silly things, but it's not being stupid as it does it, right? So Dastardly Dirk, comedy is often about like a good setup, right? Like Garfield, like there's the first panel sets up the situation, the second sets up the gag, and the third panel is the punchline, right? So Dastardly Dirk, he wants to be a supervillain, and his problem is he's way too nice a guy to really be a supervillain. He wants to join the Evil Villains Club, where they've got dumb acronym names for everything, but he's got a beautiful wife and an adorable little girl, and he just wants to be a good dad. So does he have it in him to really be a supervillain? Probably not. I got a kick out of the various like villains who showed up, like kind of a Merlin, Saruman, kind of a Jack-o'-lantern, Skeletor, a witch, basically Lord Voldemort, and a vampire, right? And then at the end, it just kind of sets up, oh, it's Cthulhu, but he's a cute little kid, and he's kind of normal, right? So it was a great little setup. Very, very genuinely funny dialogue, kind of a heartfelt character. I'd be interested to check out more. Battle Cats, I asked my boy Lio Convoy Reviews if Battle Cats has anything to do with Thundercats. Is it like a ripoff of Thundercats? And he had no clue. No, if the Thundercats expert doesn't know, then who on the internet could possibly know? So whatever Battle Cats is, it feels a little bit like Thundercats, but maybe I think the Thundercats kind of have a neat, sleek design where they have cat-like qualities, but they're mostly human, and the Battle Cats are a little bit more like creepy furry, but I enjoyed it. Let's see, we got Mark London as the writer, Mauricio Villarreal. So it's kind of implying a dark fantasy world where like people die. If the bad guys show up and kill you, like they're not going to be nice to you. And they're kind of implying some of that stuff without being too explicit about it. And I kind of like the Battle Cats, like three beautiful ladies. They've each got like a different fighting style. There's like Ninja Girl and Girl with Sword and Hammer for blunt force trauma, and Archer Girl. And then there was like this really sweet thing where like the husband showed up, and there was like a nice relation between the husband and the wife. I didn't like the coloring too much. It's always like all blue or almost always all red. Like you have to have variety or your eyes get too used to the one color. Like have some white. Add white to everything. White makes everything better. Like instantly the second white shows up, it gets better, but then it's all blue. So whatever Battle Cats is, I want to show the sweet page of like, yeah, husband and wife hugging. That's so nice. I like seeing husbands and wives. All right, so whatever it is, kind of an interesting little setup, cool little battle sequence, and setup for the next group of bad guys. Yanu is a kind of like from the Unique universe, so kind of African-inspired heroes, and Africa's got a lot of great folklore and stuff to draw on. You've got the Sundiata legend. Okay. OCD time, like the eyes are off center on her head. That's why artists always draw the circle and the grid lines first, is to make sure that the eyes are at a right angle to the line that goes down the front of the jaw. But actually, the interior art, let's see, the creator, writer, and art director was Roy Okupe. The illustration is by Godwin Akpan. So Godwin Akpan is doing, when I've said like, don't kinda paint, if you want to bring a painting style into comics, just do paintings, right? Like don't do comic art and then do painting on top of it where it fights with the comic art. Just do paintings. And that's exactly what Godwin does. He doesn't do, there's no underdrawing at all, it looks like, or he doesn't show his underdrawing. He just does kind of cool, sketchy paintings with neat little brush effects. It's a very straightforward story. So Ianu's like she's apparently got like these superpowers. She mysteriously showed up in the woods, and her adopted mom has been outcast for some reason. But there's kind of like this tense political situation where the village needs her mom to perform exorcisms, but they still kind of hate her and look down at her. And there's like this political situation in the village where they're trapped and people are starving, and one of the politicians is trying to convince them to go mount some expeditions and explore and see if they can figure out what's causing all the curses, right? Yeah, it was nice. The big thing for me is like the painterly things. There was like one panel where I was completely confused. I want to show this to you. Okay, so she's like training with their mom, and like her adopted mom is doing like this hook kick behind her head. Well, first off, if you do a hook kick behind the head, that person's going right down. It looks like, I don't know, I can't tell if that's supposed to be her shoulder or if she's lifting her arm up in front of her to block. I'll just put it this way. It didn't look like someone who took karate posed out this fight sequence. But that was like the only panel in the entire book that was wigging out my OCD. This looks like a fun little book. So there's that. Tales of Besseria. So this is another thing where it's just like a few little previews, like the first half of a chapter. This is one of the reasons I love the Adventures of Cthulhu so much. It's a whole comic book, beginning, middle, and end. So the Tales series, like I know it's maybe the third most popular RPG series in Japan. I know like all the Japanese kids want Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia in Smash Brothers. I think I played a few hours of Tales of Symphonia with my roommates in college because it was actually a multiplayer RPG. So Tales of Berseria, I don't think they're ever set in the same universe, but it's got this really cool slick look to it. Let me jump ahead. So the art is by Nobu Aonagi, so kind of a standard, manga style, but I noticed that he does some cool, maybe sketchy stuff with the outlines, like there'll be some sharp, jagged edges to thing that gives it maybe kind of this nice, I don't know, like rough sketched out feel. It's not like pure and pristine, and I actually kind of dig that. It was just, the problem is it's so short, like it's hard to review it. Like, neat little setup. Like, we got a cool origin story for our tough anti-hero girl who's driven by revenge. There was kind of like some hard-hitting moments. Yeah, so I'd be interested to check out more based on that. Totally dope. Grand Blue Fantasy, I guess it's a mobile game. This was kind of interesting. Layouts by Makoto Fugetsu, illustrated by Kocho. So I don't often see like a layout artist in manga. It usually seems to be like one person directing it all, maybe with assistants under them. It's only like 2 pages, so I didn't really get a feel for the style, except that it's kind of like it's also kind of a loose, sketchy manga style too. And I don't know, there was like this weird thing on the cover where it said preview of whatever Fate Grand Order is, and there was just like an image on the back. Like, are there variant editions of Free Halloween comics now? Am I supposed to collect the variants of the Free Halloween comics to get whatever the Fate Grand Order story is? But yeah, I'd check out Tales of Besseria purely based on the preview. But clear winner of the day, The Adventures of Cthulhu Jr. and Dastardly Dirk Manning and Scott McMahon. I'm going to be checking that out. All right, we don't need no stinking 10-minute videos. Number one Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Man, it's really dark and moody and mysterious on the number one Marmaduke fan. Well, it's Halloween. It's spooky. Woo!